Hi everyone, today I will talk about the recent work that I submitted to the PAKDD conference. The research field is regarding decoding emotion from the speech signal. The paper title is Leveraged Mel Spectrogram Using Harmonic and Percussive Components in Speech Emotion Recognition. The main research work is done in speech signal processing. That's why I would like a little bit talk about application of the signal processing, and then I will talk about the research significance and our new approach to the speech emotion recognition. And after that, I will share experiment results and limitations. Speech signal processing refers to decoding and encoding the information from the speech signal. This is very useful because we can describe the voice signal by applying different acoustic features and then use that feature information to build an intelligent audio system. Here I will explain how a speech signal creates and how we can analyze it. The glottal pulse is created from the vocal cords and then past the vocal tract. The output is a mechanical signal, and then we convert that mechanical signal to an electrical signal like this, and then digitize the signal by ADC, audio digital converter, for analyzing the signal properties. The four main data behind each speech signal are intensity, frequency, pitch, and duration. We can extract this information by using acoustic features like MFCCs, chromogram, millispectrogram, contrast, and tonates. Each feature extracts a different aspect of sound. We can work on the speech signal in the time domain frequency and frequency domain or time frequency domain. In emotion recognition, the most useful features are in the time frequency domain. For example, here for the MFCC feature, we switch from the time domain to frequency domain by applying a Fourier transform on signal to get power spectrum, and then move to the time frequency domain by applying inverse discrete Fourier transform on the log of the power spectrum. Here the vocal tract frequency response is our target signal, and glottal pulse are considered as a noise and should be removed from the original speech signal. So to do that, we need to apply inverse discrete Fourier transform on the log of the spectrum. In this way, we can decompose the original signal and remove the unwanted components. Here, because we are not in the frequency domain or in the time domain, we are in the time frequency domain, we have to use different abbreviation. Liftering here is the same as filtering, and coefferency is the same as frequency. Why vocal tract signal is useful? Because we can see intensity and pitches of the voice in a clear way in vocal tract signal and extract harmonic and percussive of the human voice from it. For example, here, this spectrum shows 5 formants in this speech signal. It can be extracted by percussive component of the millispectrogram. And also here we are liftering glottal pulse and keep vocal tract frequency response in this area. So we keep that useful information by applying IDFT. We can categorize the emotions into 7 main emotions like happiness, neutral, anger, disgust, fear, and boredom. For example, in these two emotions, anger and disgust, we can see the speech signal is different, and also a spectrogram is different as well. We can see it for anger, the intensity level is a little bit higher than the disgust, and also the pitch level in anger is different and also in a higher than pitch level in disgust. So this is we can decode, extract these features and analyze the emotions based on this type of the properties. I will try to place some of the sample points like happiness and neutral. For example, for happiness, we have this.
An den Wochenenden bin ich jetzt immer nach Hause gefahren und habe Agnes besucht.
That's the neutral.
Heute Abend könnte ich es ihm sagen.
That's the anger.
Heute Abend könnte ich es ihm sagen. Was sind denn das für Tüten, die da unter dem Tisch stehen?
discussed. Also boredom.
Das will sie am Mittwoch abgeben.
Die wird auf dem Platz sein, wo wir sie immer hinlegen.
Yeah, that's the samples, voice samples from the EMODB database. The database is actually in German.
Heute Abend könnte ich es Ihnen sagen.
Voice feature extraction methods in SIR can be classified to acoustic, prosodic, linguistic. Acoustic features describe the wave properties of the speech, includes Fourier frequencies, energy-based features, MFCCs, and spectrogram. Prosodic, this type of the features measure coordinates of the speech like pause between words and loudness. Linguistic features based on the semantic information contained in the speech. We don't use the linguistic features in this study because it's not related to this speech signal processing. We are most focused on speech signal processing in this study. Existing approaches to intelligent audio systems is rule-based systems in DSP or feature engineering methods in traditional machine learning, or recently very popular way, automatic feature extraction by using deep learning. Literature review. I will explain some related works in this field. I will try to explain the methodologies they used. For example, here ISA approached a new method, and they used some very interesting method. They combined 5 different acoustic features like MFCCs, spectrogram, chromogram, spectral contrast, and tonets. And they used the VGG16 as a feature learner, and they could get a 95.75% accuracy on EMODB database. The limitation of this methodology is elevation experiment, because those samples are not predicted in true classes or removed from EMODB dataset, and a sample reduced to the 520. So this accuracy is not for whole dataset. Another interesting work is for Franti. In their method, they extract MFCC through PROT, which is a feature extraction software, and they have a very significant contribution. They actually used the CNN networks to learning the features from their own dataset in Romanian language. They could get an accuracy of 71.37% in test data. The limitation of this study is the lack of the standardized database, because they use only their own database based on the actors they hired, and they record the actor's voice, and they didn't compare that model output with other Romanian database. This can be a limitation of this study as well. This work used the 1D and second dimension CNN LSTM networks by Zhao. They could get a state-of-the-art accuracy of 95.89% on the EMODB dataset. And actually, this is the highest accuracy we have in EMODB. However, the limitation of this study is model complexity and oral fitting when training accuracy. In our study, we try to answer the 3 main research questions: which kind of the spectral or prosodic acoustic features play a significant role in speech emotion recognition problem, and also what a neural network architecture can reach us to high-level aggregated features to recognize the emotion background of the speaker, and also what are the possible voice data augmentation techniques to improve accuracy in general. The challenges of this study is distinguishing acoustic feature extraction to improve SIR classification. The second challenge is feature learning network. And third one is group data with the tensor of the same dimensions into batches. The input data must be the sequence of the same tensor dimensions in CNN VGG16, while in SIR, the duration of the utterance caused the different size of the extracted features frames from 34 to 438. Thus, it's impossible to pack them into the batches and train a network efficiently. So the solutions to these challenges is generate the most influential hybrid feature maps by processing harmonic and percussive components of MEL spectrogram and combine the result with the log of the MEL spectrogram. The second solution is leveraging transfer learning with pre-trained CNN VGG16 models can be speed up the learning process. And also third solution is define a function to generate feature maps from subsamples based on the fixed dimension of the 128 frames and 128 bands as an input data for CNN VGG16. Methodologies. And this is a schematic of our model workflow. First, we take almost 88,000 sample points. It means each 11 microsecond, we take a sample point from the signal and then create a data frame within a window size of 2048. Each data frame length has 23 milliseconds and each subsample contains 128 data frames. We decompose the harmonic of the spectrum of signal by applying a median filter in horizontal direction, and also we split the percussive component of the spectrum by applying a median filter in vertical direction. A median filter in the vertical direction is sensitive in the magnitude of the spectrum, unlike a horizontal median filter is sensitive to the frequency of the spectrum. So in this way, we create the first features, we calculate the average of harmonic and percussive components, and then we add this first feature to the second feature. The second feature is by applying a short time Fourier transfer on a speech signal to get a spectrogram of the signal, and then convert the spectrogram to MEL scale, and then compute the log of the MEL spectrogram. So that's our second feature. The function output is a feature map in two-dimensional of 128 frames and 128 bands. This feature map is like a 2D image for the VGG16 network that is already trained based on the ImageNet database. We use a separate MLP network to classify 7 emotions, and then we run the hyperparameters model tuning on MLP networks to achieve the best model. So the input of the VGG16 is 2D feature maps, and the input of the MLP classifier is a one-dimensional vector in size of 2048. The MLP classifiers include 4 fully connected layers with the ReLU activation functions and a softmax function in the output layer. We set 50% dropout in for first and second dense, and 30% dropout for third and fourth layer. I use the NVIDIA GPU to run this network. We use the EMODB dataset, which is a contain of 535 audio files in wave formats. This dataset constructed by 5 female and males actor between 25 and 35 years old, and they just read prepared text while performing in 7 different emotions. This table shows the distribution of the 535 recorded voices in our database. We can see that all 7 classes, they are not balanced. The largest class is anger with 128 sample voices, and the minor class is belong to disgust with 46 sample voices. Here I visualize acoustic features. Our first feature is combining with harmonic and percussive, and the second feature is log of MEL spectrogram, and this is the image of output of the two-dimensional feature map generator function. Those red color area represent the frequencies most contribute in the sample voice. For example, here we can see in the anger emotion, frequencies contribute in the voice is different with that frequencies that contribute for boredom voice, and so on for other emotion classes. Here we visualize the composition of signal to harmonic and percussive components from a neutral emotion recorded voice, and we applied horizontal median filter for get a harmonic voice, and vertical median filter to get a percussive voice. I will play the actually this sample voice, and we can see how is percussive voice and harmonic voice is different.
Grant your friends with a fancy persuasion. Don't admit that it's part of the scheme. Grant your friends with a fancy persuasion. Don't admit that it's part of the scheme. Grant your friends with a fancy persuasion. Don't admit that it's part of the scheme.
We evaluate the prediction accuracy based on the different feature extraction methods, sample rate, and window size in our model. And we can see our proposed feature extraction method, a two-dimensional average of harmonic and percussive plus a log of mel spectrogram, get a best result based on the different feature methods. Our result on test data is 92.79%. So based on this experiment result, we can see when we increase the window size and sample rate, we decrease the hope length and increase the overlapping between frames. So that's why we can get more data points involved in each subsample, and we increase the accuracy on test data as well. This box plot chart shows the variation in prediction accuracy per emotion class for different feature representation methods. We can see our proposed feature extraction methods has an acceptable variation in prediction output. This is the confusion matrix of the model on EMODB database. We can see the neutral and boredom emotion are confused because of the similarities in the amplitude of the pitch and intensity levels. Two main contributions of this study is this work explores for the first time the effect of the harmonic and percussive components of the MEL spectrogram in speech emotion recognition. And the second contribution is we got the superior result for all previous works they used CNN VGG16. Two main advantages of this method is applicability and generality of our method. We can use other acoustic features such as MFCCs, chromogram, spectral contrast, and etc. And the second advantage is the capability of storing the feature maps into cloud storage in PKL format, enable us to share them for simultaneous analysis with several networks. The main drawback of our method is using only acoustic features to classify emotions is not constant across different languages and cultures. For example, I played these two sample voice in happiness emotion class in two different databases, one of them in American language, another one in German language.
An den Wochenenden bin ich jetzt immer nach Hause gefahren und habe Agnes besucht.
Yeah, I know. Wow, I'm shaking. I can't even.
An den Wochenenden bin ich jetzt immer